What is up, YouTube? Zach here, and today I will be going over what, in my opinion, has been my most anticipated deck profile. Well, I've wanted to do this deck profile the most. It's the deck I've considered playing for most of the format. Obviously, if you can't tell, it's windups. This profile, or this deck itself, is based mostly on the guy that won YCS Toronto's build. His name was Josh Graham. So I guess we'll get right into the deck profile. Like I showed you guys the combo video earlier. I'll try to put a link to it somewhere in the bottom if I remember. And I just want to remind you guys to rate, comment, subscribe to see more deck profiles, pack openings, etc. So now let's get into the profile. 2 rabbit, you only need 2. 3 in my opinion is well, you draw it inconsistently too often, and also freeing up the spots for other floaters is good in my opinion. So yeah, 2, this is one of the differences. I think Josh Graham ran 3. You do run 3 shark though. This card, obviously you need it for your OTK, but beyond that it's also a very good, very strong wind-up card. The fact that it can change its level is really helpful. This is how you go into your rank 5s, etc. I think you all know what shark does. It's the reason windups are good in the TCG, but not in the OCG, because if you didn't know, the OCG does not have windup shark. Next, we've got 3 windup rat. You have to run 3, in my opinion. I know some people at regionals have been topping with 1, but in my opinion, that just seems ridiculous. You run 3, you summon it, switch it to defense, bring back a windup. That is pretty much all it is good for, and then you combo off into other things. But this is crucial to starting your combos. You just need to make sure you have a windup in the grave. And finally, we have 2 windup magician. Chose not to run 3 just because you get some really awkward hands when you run 3. And it's not necessary to run 3 to get into your OTKs and combos, etc. So yeah. That is the whole windup thing. I do not run Hunter, so that is 10 monsters, I think. Yeah, 10. And in my opinion, that's the only 10 you need. I'm kind of minimal on the windup monsters just because I'm running some other anti-meta cards, etc. And I chose to keep the monster count at 20, as you will see. Anyway, beyond that, I ran 2 tour guides in the Sangan, tour guide engine. Tour bus is inconsistent, and you don't really need Night Assailant because of the next card I'm going to show you, which is 2 Snowman Eater. I run him because he can wall with all of the best normal summon monsters in the game. Good against 6 Samurai, etc. And then he's good for dealing with Thunder King, which this deck has a problem with sometimes, although in my opinion, my build doesn't really have a problem with it. Next we've got Double Max C. Max C, obviously a strong card this format, great in the mirror. And then people in my locals are obsessed with 6 Samurai, so this is, in my opinion, the perfect counter just because 6 Samurai have to go into their combos and stuff like that. And Valor doesn't always stop their combos because they can just special summon Kizan over Kageki. But Max C forces them to make those plays and do suboptimal plays. Even if they finish with Shien, if you finish with 10 cards in hand, you can afford to burn a spell or trap card on the Shien and then beat it. So 2 Max Cs, then I run 2 Thunder King. Obviously a good anti-meta card right now. Everybody's loving Thunder King. I also love Thunder King. Good for the mirror, etc. The only problem is when you draw it and Factory or any of your searching cards, really. So yeah, only 2. And then lastly, I run a Gores. I almost want to cut that and put in 2 Tragodia just because I saw this really interesting build that I think got top 32 in Toronto that ran 2 Tragodia instead of a Gores. Just because when you max C into your combos and you have a wind-up Factory on board, drawing Gores isn't going to help, but drawing a Tragodia with like 10 cards in hand is absolutely fantastic. So if I find some Tragodias, I think I have 1 laying around, but if I find 2, I will probably cut the Gores for 2 Tragodias, and then I'll cut like a Thunder King or something. So that is it for the monster count. Like I said, 20 monsters. I don't know. I think this is like the most optimal monster count I've gotten so far. A lot of people have been cutting Thunder Kings. I just think Thunder King is too good right now to not run it. With all the searching it stops, and with all the searching going on with like heroes and even Dark World search with like Snow. Dark Worlds, in my opinion, have a hard time with Thunder King. So this is like the perfect counter to the meta. Plants are still topping, I guess, so Thunder King's good for that. I'll actually have a plant deck profile, I don't know, in the future, maybe like the day after this video, who knows. Anyway, on to spells, we've got double wind-up factory. Everybody's gonna go, boo, you should run 3. Well, screw to you. 3 is not that good. At my locals, in the mirror match, etc. And that is why I'm also running the 10 wind-up monsters. It makes this card more optimal at 2, because you don't really need 3 with how minimal the amount of wind-ups I'm running. So yeah, I only choose to run 2. Next, we've got Pot of Avarice. That's an obvious card in my opinion. You have so much graveyard presence once you get your combos going, and Pot of Avarice just helps you recycle it all. And then, stealing this from Josh Graham's build, I wasn't running this before originally, but I'm choosing to run 2 Pot of Duality. This deck is suffering some consistency problems. I think all wind-up decks are, though. So this just kind of helps. You can Duality into a wind-up factory, summon your rabbit, or Duality into a rabbit, activate factory, and then start to gain advantage. So you just have to, it just means you have to set Shark, summon a rabbit, set a Sangan, etc. to get your dualities to work. You don't really have to play around it that much. Even in late game, this card's helpful. So, I don't know, I like duality. Next, we've got the trifecta of power cards, which is Dark Hole, Reborn, Heavy Storm. Next, we've got double space for protection, getting your OTK to go off, etc. And then the last card I've got is one Soul Taker, just because some quick destruction effects are good when it's not like a power card such as Dark Hole. This is a really convenient card. You get to choose your target, etc. So that's 11 spells. I'm copying the exact ratio Josh Graham had, which is 20, 11, 11. So now we will get into the 11 traps, which are Solemn Brigade or Solemn Trifecta. I don't know why I like the word trifecta so much, but gotta run those. 2 Torrential Tribute. Still a really powerful card. I don't know why you wouldn't run it with Rabbit. I'm obviously talking about Wind-Up Rabbit, not Rescue Rabbit. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, still good at 2, no priority, so it's still a really effective card against any Exceed, in my opinion. 1 Dimensional Prison, because this is my inability to get a second one. I've been looking for a second one, I just haven't been able to get one. I don't really want to spend money, so I'm just looking to trade for one. So yeah, 1. Compensating for that, I have 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device. In my opinion, still a really good good substitute for Dimensional Prison, the one I'm missing. Gets rid of Zen mains all the same, gets rid of any Exceed, really. Even Synchros with like those stupid Teledad decks running around, which in my opinion aren't really good, but Compulsory shuts them down. And after that, we've got double Mirror Force. I could actually take out a Mirror Force for the 3rd Dimensional Prison, or just take it out for a second one and keep in the Compulsory since I'm actually liking it. Haven't really had a chance to test 2 Mirror Forces, but I decided why not. So yep, those are the 11 traps. I gotta say, these are pretty much the most standard, in my opinion. The only thing like really new and innovative about this wind-up deck was the fact that Josh Graham used Pot of Duality for like the consistency and whatever, and the fact that Max C's worked its way back in to the meta. So that was a fail of well, showing you the cards. So we'll get into the Exceeds. We got Zen Mighty, double Zen mains. You can make 2 Zen mains, so why not run them? I actually really like Zen mains in this deck, and this guy has a misprint. I don't know if you can see that little like circular paint splot thing, but he's got one, so you gotta run him. I picked him up at locals randomly the other day. So yeah, those are your 3 wind-up guys that are ranked 3s. On top of that, you got Leviair, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant, Tempo, and Musa Rhythm. Oh yeah, and Greenosaurus. So obviously, Rhythm should be replaced with like an Acid Golem or something, but I sold mine because it's getting reprinted, and so I decided time to get rid of Acid Golem. And in addition to that, I might keep Rhythm just because Acid Golem always had a way of burning me to death. Rhythm can't really burn me to death. Grinosaurus is in there for the cheap wins, and I actually want to take one of these two out for Shockmaster, which I don't have, but one of those two would definitely come out for Shockmaster, just because this deck can make Shockmaster. Next we got rank 4s, we got Zenmeister, Utopia, and the Photon Butterfly guy. Zenmeister for facilitating the Tour Guide Shark OTK. Utopia is a solid rank 4, and Palapar Operative for the OTK, and just in general if you need it during game to switch your rat into attack position. Next we got Zenmayo, Tyrus, and Adrius. People will set, or T-set, a Snowman Eater with a back row. You just go into Zenmayo. It's probably not a Starlight Road. You just pop both of them and swing for 26 direct. Tyrus, another obvious choice, avoiding destruction. And then Adrius, good in the mirror match just because you can pop their factory. And then good in other specific matchups, but beyond that, Tyrus is probably going to be the better choice. So yep, that is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you will come back, watch more videos, maybe click the subscribe button, rate, comment, etc. Like this video. I didn't even know you could do that, but do it, hopefully. And I will see you in the next video. See you, YouTube.